That you get home now. Tried it, but till you feel too slow down. Hiding, or till the world won't turn round. Hiding, 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 hiding.
Hello! I just made a coffee and it was a bit of a hassle because I was actually trying to dial in new coffee beans, but we've never tried new coffee beans before, so we kind of had to figure out how to get like the perfect settings, but I think we made it work. I just moved and I've had a bit of a hard time adjusting to all of the changes and like finding routine again. Like I have been out of routine for literally months, and if you're on TikTok you have probably seen the whole locking in, winter arc, 75 hard, all that jazz, and I'm gonna do some kind of locking in for winter, but in a more gentle way, because it's basically just focusing on certain habits, but it's not like an actual challenge that if you fail, like you can't fail. Basically, the focus is mainly on becoming consistent with certain habits, because that's also the way that you're gonna reach any goals if you have them, because you're not gonna reach it if you go completely crazy for like a week and then just fall off, because you're not gonna sustain it, because it's not sustainable if you have like 1,000 goals every day and you're gonna be really mad at yourself if you're not getting them. It has to be realistic, it has to work for you. Like obviously everyone has different goals, different ways of living. That sounds really vague, but like everyone's different, so the things that I do might not work for you. But today I do want to share what I'm doing and what does work for me, because maybe it can give you a bit of inspiration. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and it was the Working Hard podcast by Grace Beverly. She did this episode on like a winter arc, and I thought it was really interesting, like her way of viewing it, and I quite really agreed with it. So I definitely recommend listening to that episode if you haven't. But basically, a winter arc can be really good, and honestly, if you can be very disciplined and do like whole 75 hard thing, honestly good for you. But I know that that's not going to be good for me, because I'm quite sensitive to being like an overachiever. I don't like failing, and I feel like if I put so many rules on myself and like be really strict about it, I'm not gonna want to do it. I feel like in the end those challenges are just not going to be sustainable, so the way that I want to do it is just a little bit more of a gentle way, and you can't actually fail. You're just working on bettering things every day, and just working on yourself. Yeah, I'd recommend listening to that podcast, because she actually had really good things to say about this, and I probably can't word it better than her, so please go listen to that. Basically, I just really want to get back into routine. I want to work out again. I want to just focus on doing things that are good for me. That's basically what I want to do this winter, and honestly, I was really not looking forward to it being dark very early and dark in the mornings and all that stuff, but now that it's almost here, I'm quite excited for like cozy nights and like candles. And I don't know, when I woke up this morning and it was dark, I was actually like, it's kind of cozy. So to get back into routine and to be like disciplined again, I have a few habits that I want to stick to. And as I said, I'm not going to be too strict. Like I do want to do most of these every day, but if there's a day that I'm like really busy or just not feeling it, like if I'm actually not feeling it, not just lazy, then it's okay if there's one that you don't do that day. Like we're not gonna punish ourselves or anything like that, because I know in the end that that's not gonna be sustainable for me. I think I'm quite sensitive to like being completely obsessive over something. That's also why I'm trying to not make this too strict. The habits that I'm trying to implement back into my life is water. I want to drink 2 to 3 liters of water a day. I have this huge ass water bottle, and this is a liter I think, so I just fill this up 3 times. I've been working on this habit for like 2 years, and I was doing really well at it, but I noticed that if I have like a really busy day or if I go somewhere throughout the day, then usually I drink 2 liters, but if I'm home all day, it's quite easy for me to drink 3. So the goal is a bit flexible, but I try to drink at least 2 every day. The next habit is 10,000 steps. This might sound very controversial for some people, because if you don't want to be strict, why do you set a number? I know, but 10,000 steps is just a really good guideline for me. Like, I need a number to work towards. It's not like if you have 9,999, you failed. Like, that's completely not the case, but I just want to have like a number that you can actually work towards. That's just something that works for me and my mind. So yeah, and with that, like the whole walking thing, I feel like for working out, for me, it's mostly about just moving my body more. I don't have like a specific set amount of times that I want to work out. This week that I'm filming this video is actually not a very usual week workout wise, because I'm actually doing 3 workout classes this week, and that has a reason, because I had this ClassPass trial. Like I said, I just moved, we have ClassPass here, so I had a trial for that, but it ends this week, so I had to use up all the credits that I had left this week. So this morning I went to row cycle. On Friday I'm trying a Pilates class, and on Saturday I'm also trying a reformer Pilates class, and I'm so nervous. I don't know why I'm so nervous, but I'm just really scared of these classes. They look really hard. So I don't have like a set amount of times that I want to work out, but I do want to get running back into my routine. I actually went for a run yesterday, and it was the first time in literally 5 months that I ran 4K without stopping. So that was actually a huge deal for me, but I really want to get back into running, and I think I do want to follow like a running training program soon. And when I do, that might mean that I have to run like 3 times a week, which is fine, and then maybe I'll do like a row cycle class or a Pilates class and just go on like little walks throughout the day. I think that's kind of what I want to do. I'll just have to see how that goes, because obviously I've never had like ClassPass before, so I'm just gonna try out different workouts and see what I like, see what I don't like, and just slowly build the running back up. And yeah, it's just mainly about just moving more, because I have been so out of that. And yesterday I actually went on like a very long walk with a podcast, and honestly for me that just feels so nice. It just really calms me down, so I'd highly recommend just moving your body in a way like that if you don't want to actually do a workout. Then I also want to focus on 2 more things. The first one being food, and I don't want to be like very strict about food. Like, I don't want to follow like any diet of that kind, but I do want to try and focus a bit more on like whole foods and just like foods that make me feel good. Like less chocolate, less sweets, and like I'm not gonna forbid myself of having sweets, because I can be a big sweet tooth, but overall just try and keep it a bit more on the healthy side, like yogurt, avocado, eggs, just things like that. And then on the weekends we can still have some cinnamon buns, because I am obsessed with those. And the last thing being that I kind of want to try and lower my screen time. This is a big one for me, because my screen time is so bad. I notice myself doom scrolling all the time, and I'm just very much addicted to all of my social media and everything like that. So that's something that we're gonna work on. And I think something that goes really well with like the gentle approach of these things is to just slowly bring more of these habits into your life. For example, if you barely ever drink any water, start with 2 glasses a day and then go up to 4, or go for 1 run this week and then maybe go for 2 next week. Like, just start very small and then just bring a few more things in as you go, because if you're gonna be like, oh, go from 0 to 4 runs this week, that's just not gonna work, because you're gonna hate it and you're not gonna do it. I feel like there are some specific things that help me with all of these things, because for example reading and journaling, they just kind of take my mind off things, and they obviously replace my screen time. I am not very good at these yet. They're not habits for me, because I tend to not do them when I'm like busy or when I'm bored, because I always grab my phone. So I just want to consciously think about what is better for my goals, because also for the screen time thing, if you see things on social media, you're also going to be influenced by that. Because if I see someone eat a cinnamon bun I want a cinnamon bun. And if I'm gonna read my book, I'll be distracted from the cinnamon bun. That's a very bad example, okay. But I feel like it works if you're like distracting yourself, because for example, also if I'm like trying to eat a bit more healthy, then I also crave less of unhealthy things. I don't want to really call things healthy and unhealthy, but I don't know how to otherwise explain it. But if I'm gonna eat a lot of chocolate today, then tomorrow I'm gonna be like, oh, I want more chocolate. But if I don't eat chocolate today, tomorrow if I like drink my water, go on walks and just do all the things that I'm supposed to do, then I will have less cravings for chocolate. At least that's my case. I always feel like it works like that for me. Going on long walks and listening to podcasts is also something that works for me, because again, it's distraction. I tend to be very lazy if I'm like bored or if I just don't really know what to do. So now if I'm bored, I'm gonna try and go on a walk. Something else that helps me is making our home cozier. What I said at the beginning, now that everything's like getting darker and it's harder to get up in the morning, I feel like if I make my home a bit more cozy, we're obviously still getting used to living here and like it's a completely different space than what we had, but I just feel like romanticizing and making everything cozier just really helps. And with that, leaning into hobbies is also something that might work, because for example, I love baking. Do I ever bake? No. So that's something that I also want to do more, because sometimes I do have the time for it, but instead I just go on my phone or just lay in bed, you know? So I want to change that, and I actually want to do more things that I enjoy. Next up is trying not to snooze. I am a very big snoozer, but usually if I snooze, I will just stay in bed like a lot longer. So I should try. I have heard so much about the 5-second rule where you just count to 5 and then get up. I haven't actually really tried it, but I feel like that's something that could work for me, because if I snooze, I'm just gonna stay in bed. Something that has worked for me with that is getting a sunrise alarm clock. We have one, we just haven't used it recently, but that works. And I think also setting like small rewards for if you get up or having to be somewhere in the morning, because for example, if you have a workout class that you have to pay for to cancel, it's gonna be easier to get up because you're like, oh, otherwise I have to pay for it. Or maybe meet up with a friend to go for like a walk in the morning, because then if you stay in bed, you have to cancel on your friend, which is obviously something you don't really want to do. So it might make it easier for you to get up. Another small reward is making a coffee right when you wake up. That is something that sometimes works for me, because it just makes me excited to get up and go make a coffee. I feel like those are just a few things that kind of help me in the process of building these habits back up again, because I'm really excited, because I know if I'm in routine, I love being structured and in routine. It just hasn't been here, but I'm very excited to be back into routine. But especially because I have so many workout classes this week, please do not let that be your takeaway from this video. Like, we're not doing this to just work out every day, not ever eat something unhealthy again. Like, I'm literally going for a dinner this weekend because I don't want a lock-in to be something that you just don't enjoy. Like, if I had to cancel all of my plans for like the next few months, that's just not something that you're gonna enjoy. So I feel like just incorporating these habits into your life, but also not like being too strict about it and just being very gentle with yourself, that's the way that it's gonna stick. Because also it's not really a challenge, like there's not really an end date for me for these habits. Like, I just want to keep them in my routine. Like, there's not like an end date on which I will have like accomplished something. I just want to be consistent, and I want it to be a bit more sustainable. just got a little bit ready and now I'm gonna eat some lunch because after that I'm gonna head to my Pilates class. I think it's actually like a Legree workout, if that's what it calls. Like it's kind of like reformer Pilates, but I think it's like different, so please don't hate on me because I have no idea. And I've only tried a reformer class like one time, like a year ago, so I'm very scared because I have no idea how these machines work and I feel like I'm not very flexible. Like cardio wise, my like fitness levels are pretty okay, but flexibility wise they are not, so I'm very nervous, but we'll see how that goes. And then I'm just gonna go home and I'm actually gonna be by myself tonight, so I'm kind of excited to have just a little slow cozy evening at home, but I do have to do a bit more work after I get back. For lunch, I'm gonna have a little bit of this salad that we had left. We usually meal prep this for 4 portions, so we both have 2 portions. It's a really good salad, but I had less left than I thought I was gonna have, so I made a little piece of toast to go. This is not little actually, but I made a slice of toast to go with it, with peanut butter and banana and honey and chia seeds. This is literally my obsession. I also had this for breakfast this morning, so being a little bit repetitive today, but yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy this and then just gonna head to the workout class. I'm so scared, I don't know why. I'm starving now, so I'm gonna make some dinner. I find it really hard to cook when you're by yourself, so I didn't really feel like cooking, but there's one meal that I've been really enjoying and it's also quite easy to make. You have probably seen it on TikTok because it's the hot honey bowl with avocado, sweet potato, beef, and I'm gonna add some tomatoes actually for veggies, simply because I still have tomatoes, so I'm just gonna use those. And then I also got this as a little sweet treat because it's still a Friday night, so I wanted to have something sweet that I can have tonight. These are those like chocolate covered raspberries and they are super overpriced because you can definitely just literally melt chocolate and put raspberries in it. But for some reason I find these really good and I'm simply too lazy to do it myself. I wanted to try the dark chocolate ones actually, but they didn't have those anymore, so I got the white and milk chocolate, which we already had once before and they were really good. So yeah, I got those, but first we're gonna make some dinner because I'm very hungry.